Turn on any tap in a wealthy country and something quietly astonishing happens. Water comes out that will not kill you. We treat this as the most boring fact in the world. It is, in truth, the single thing that added the most years to the human lifespan, more than any pill, any surgeon, any famous cure. And it happens in a handful of steps, in a building you have never visited. Count them with me, and by the end, you will never think about a glass of water the same way. Start with what is actually in raw water. Pull it from a river or a reservoir, and it is alive. Cloudy with silt, swimming with bacteria, carrying the invisible cargo that once emptied whole cities: cholera, typhoid, dysentery. For almost all of human history, the water that sustained a city was also the thing most likely to kill you. The problem was never finding water, it was trusting it. So the water begins a journey through stages, each removing something the last could not. Stage 1. Engineers add a chemical that makes the tiny, floating particles clump together. Specks too small and too light to ever settle on their own suddenly find each other, gathering into clumps heavy enough to sink. Nothing has been filtered yet. The dirt has simply been persuaded to become catchable. Stage 2. The water sits. It flows slowly into vast, calm basins and is allowed to do nothing at all for hours. And in that stillness, gravity does the work. The heavy clumps drift to the bottom and stay there, leaving the water above visibly clearer. Half the treatment plant is essentially a place designed for water to be patient in. Stage 3. It is filtered. What is left passes down through deep beds of sand and gravel, and the last of the fine particles are strained out in the tiny gaps between the grains. This trick is ancient. The slow sand filter is centuries old, but it still does something no chemical can. It physically catches what remains. The water that emerges looks finally clean. But here is the part that actually saved the millions. Pure water is not safe water. It can look perfect and still carry disease you cannot see. So in the final step, a tiny, carefully measured amount of chlorine is added, enough to kill the microbes that survived every stage before, and crucially to keep killing them in the pipes all the way to your home. This one step, more than any other, is why the tap stopped being dangerous. And we can almost date the moment. In 1908, an American city, Jersey City, became one of the first to continuously chlorinate its drinking water. What followed, across city after city, was staggering. Deaths from waterborne disease collapsed. Economists who later studied it concluded that clean water alone drove down urban death rates by nearly half in the early 20th century, much of it children who simply stopped dying. And here is what should give you pause. Because it works so completely, the whole system has become invisible. We have forgotten it is even a system. A treatment plant is not a monument. It is a low building by a river that no one photographs. The greatest life-saving machine your city owns is the one you would struggle to find on a map. Now the uncomfortable part. This quiet miracle is not shared. Billions of people still drink water that has been through none of these steps, or only some. The stages are not secret, and not even expensive by the standards of a rich nation, and yet, for want of them, waterborne disease still kills, still fills hospitals, still takes children first. The knowledge is finished, the distribution is not. Which is the strange truth of the tap. The safety of your water is not a property of the water. It is a property of the steps it was made to walk through, clump, settle, strain, and finally disinfect before it ever reached you. You are not drinking something naturally clean. You are drinking the output of a process no one lets you see fail. So the next time you fill a glass without a second thought, run the stages back, the clumping, the waiting, the sand, the careful pinch of chlorine. The thing that added the most years to your life was never a drug. It was a pipe and a building by the river that you never think about. And now, as promised, you will.